if you have a writing material, this would be a good time, okay, to get your writing material and get ready for the session that we're about to have. We'll be talking about a couple of things, and I'll be talking based on both my own personal experience and then also some things that is important that you know, even before time, right? So I'm going to just go through this one step at a time, and hopefully everyone is able to learn something that they can implement in their own personal and professional growth. So if you're ready for us to get started, just go to the chat box and type "I am ready." And while you're doing that, I want to say a very big thank you to the entire team at Decency NCLEX Academy, and also the founder, Mr. Decency himself. Now, there's something that happens when you do things for people that is able to make them better when you're investing, all right, in the development of people. And that's what this is about, all right? You're being invested in, you're being taught certain things that you can implement in your own life and then move yourself forward, all right? And, it's such a profound work that this academy has done over a period of time. And, several people are grateful, several people have become better and have gotten to even higher levels of influence and of relevance because of the work done here. So well done to the entire team. Well done to Mr. Decency for putting this together. And thank you for having me. Now, I'm talking about the topic for today is Recharge Your Career, empowering nurses to exceed expectations through IT optimizations. All right, let me take that again. Empowering nurses to exceed expectations through IT optimization. Now, before we begin to look at this, I think it's important that we start by having an idea of what expectations are for a nurse. If we're talking about exceeding expectations, right, I think it would be great to have an idea of what expectations are. What would you say an expectation is for a nurse? And let me just take a few comments, right, so that I can make this a bit more interactive. So if you're a nurse, for example, tell me one thing that you think is expected from you, maybe in your career, in your growth process, in your professional growth, in your personal growth. What's one thing that people expect? Let me see if I can get any comments. So I have one or two comments. I think I'm good. So what's one thing that is expected? Because we're talking about IT optimization. Yeah, we're talking about the digital space. We're talking about the internet and how you can use it to exceed expectation. So what is an expectation? Any expectation at all? When you wanted to become a nurse, or when you became a nurse, what were some expectations that you had of yourself or that people had of you? Now, if you think about it, there will be many of these expectations, many things that if you do, people are not surprised. If you, for example, go ahead and have it, they're happy because anybody that wants the best for you would expect that you have that. All right. So that is an expectation, for example, right? So there are some things that you do that is an expectation. It's normal. It's expected that you should do this, right? But how then do you go ahead and exceed those expectations, especially in this age where we are? We're at a time when the internet has provided such a profound opportunity for people to become way more successful, have way more results than they would have in a typical environment. So provided you have a smartphone and access to the internet, it's expected that you have a bigger opportunity, all right, for you to become even better. I remember there was a time when I was growing up that I would sneak in the night to go and take my parents' phone. And at that time, I think they were using one. There was this very small, I think it was a Java phone. I don't know if some of you remember those phones. Then Java phones that had Edge or GPRS internet connection, and you want to load something, you have to wait and wait and wait and wait. And it was one little phone like that. I think it was made by Nokia, if I'm not mistaken, right? And I remember going to a cyber cafe with my elder brother to open my very first email. I didn't even know how to open an email that day. So he was going to open his own email. And I went with him. That was like many, many years ago. And I went with him and I opened my first Yahoo Mail. All right. I don't use that actively anymore, but I did that way back then. Now, there was a time like that. There was a time when the things you can do with the internet or with a smartphone were very limited. With those phones, for example, some of them did not even have a camera. And the ones that had a camera, the picture quality was very terrible. Access to the internet was bad because if you want to load a video, how many of you remember that frame sign? You see the video loading, turning and turning, you say buffering 0%, 1% until it gets 100% to play for like 1 or 2 minutes, then to start buffering again. Do you remember all these things? So there are some things that were just not possible at that time, all right? It wasn't possible for you to do those things at that time. But now in this age, a lot of things have become better. We've moved from edge to, HSPDA, right? That's, 3G. And then from 3G to 4G internet connection. And now we even have 5G. I'm using a 5G internet connection where I am, right, in my workspace. This is improvements. In terms of the smartphones have become even smarter, right? We have people that are using phones that the camera qualities are even way better than some cameras. I'm using an iPhone 13, for example, that has a superb camera quality. So most of you can see me very clearly. That is one example. So different improvements has happened over time that has necessitated people, all right, that want to exceed expectations to learn how they can leverage these improvements for their own personal and professional growth, all right? And if I'm going to reward this topic, I would say how you can leverage the internet for personal and professional growth, even as a nurse. How can you use the internet as a way to grow yourself personally, professionally, even financially as a nurse? And that's what I'll be talking about. I'll start with a quote from my mentor. My mentor is Elisha Marmon, and he said something. He said that there's a place prepared for only prepared people. Prepare yourself. That was something he told me years ago. He said that, there's a place for only prepared people. Prepare yourself. That was a very powerful statement of responsibility that made me become the person that I am right now. All right. That was a very powerful statement of responsibility that made me begin to achieve the things that I have achieved even within this time. And I'll just maybe give some context, right? I remember relocating from Kaduna State to Lagos State, Nigeria, because I had gotten a job to work as a marketing expert with Meta through one of their partner companies in Nigeria. So I relocated to Lagos. We got trained by the Meta team, I think in California for a period of time, after which we were provisioned with high security gadgets that we used to do the work. I was one of those that was managing advertising for several ad creators within EMEA region. That's East, Middle East and African region, right? So we had to have those conversations with several people. Now, that is one aspect of what can happen with development. But how can this development happen with the internet? How can a nurse use IT, all right, to exceed expectation? Now, I'll just take you through very practical steps, and that's why I say if you have the right material, it's best to have it at this time. Now, the number one point, the first thing you need to do if you want to leverage the internet for personal and professional growth, even as a nurse, the first thing you need to do, the number one point, is learning. That's number one, learning. If you think about how you became a nurse, for example, you'll find out that you entered into a school without having the knowledge needed to become who you are right now. It was a period of learning in the university system or in the nursing school system that made you become who you are at the moment. I'm not sure why after that period of time, people kind of put a cap over their learning. If you became a nurse by learning, if there's any other thing you want to become in this life, it will also be by learning. That's just how it works. There was a body of knowledge that you were exposed to in school that when you were done going through that body of knowledge, you became certified, you became authorized as a nurse professionally. That means if there's any other thing you want to become, if there's any other thing you will ever become, it would be as a result of you exposing yourself intentionally to another body of knowledge, the body of knowledge that helps you to become that thing, to become that person. And this is where IT comes in. We are at a phase where we have moved from a time of information scarcity. There was a time, if some of you can remember, where for you to get access to some certain information, you have to first go to maybe a library. You have to go to a physical library, right? I don't know if anybody can remember that. There was a time that you have to go to an actual physical library to get a book before you can get access to an information. That was a period of information scarcity. Only few people that had access to these things were able to get access to them. All right, you have to take an extra mile. All right, then we move from a period of information scarcity to a period of information availability. That means, oh, information is now available, but maybe it is gated. You have to go through this process or that process to get access to information if you want to learn. But at the current stage where we are, we're at a time when there is information abundance. In fact, there is more information now than people can consume. There is access to almost limitless information. Once you have a smartphone, you can access almost limitless information. The issue with information abundance is because of the excess of information, it is then difficult to choose what you should learn. All right? That's why I brought up a concept called learning without permission. Learning without permission is you going above and beyond to learn what it takes to become better at what you need to do. For example, if you want to, as a person, as a nurse, for example, if you want to start an IT-based kind of business, maybe as a creator, there are people today. I have a friend, Dr. Malik, some of you may know him. He's based in Abuja in Nigeria. He's a medical doctor, but he also started a YouTube channel. All right, he's a medical doctor that also started a YouTube channel. Currently, he has, give or take, over 140,000 people that are subscribed to that channel. And, you know, he gets paid a lot of money just having a channel where he puts out videos. He has courses on, you know, YouTube creation right now that are amazing. Now, that is him as a doctor still using technology tools to grow. So if you want to be a nurse that is also a creator, then you have to pay attention to that body of knowledge, right, that you need to learn that. So how do you go about learning? How do you go about using IT to learn? The first thing is to define what you want to learn. And this doesn't just have to do with maybe tech roles, maybe, you know, being a designer or a developer or any of these big tech words. No, that's not it. Define what you want to learn, even in your own career, even in your own personal life. And how do you define what you want to learn? How do you get very specific about this? The first thing is to identify your gaps. You get that? If you want to define what you want to learn, one way to define it is to identify your gaps. Your gaps are simply, what are the things that are currently missing in your growth? Your gap can be, for example, it can be financial management. Are you following? It can be financial management. It can be that, you know, you're making a lot of money, but for some reason, you do not really understand how your money gets exhausted. That means it's possible that your financial management may be quite poor, true of course. So that can be a gap for you. That can be a gap that is affecting your personal growth, your professional growth. Your gap does not have to be a tech skill. Sometimes it is a tech skill, but it does not have to be. Your gap can be something as simple as financial management. It can be something as simple as communication. You don't know how to communicate. You don't know how to talk with people. You don't know how to use digital tools to communicate. That can be a gap. That can be an example of a gap. All right? Your gap can be, for example, sales and marketing. Let's say you have something that you sell. That can be your gap. Your gap can be mindsets. You think very poorly about yourself. You do not see yourself in the light that you should. You are the light of the world, but you don't see yourself as that. That can be your gap. So your gap is not always a test skill. But when you want to learn, one way you can define what you want to learn is what? Identify what your gap is. Think about it. What is that thing that is missing? You have to be very sincere. You can't identify your gap if you're not a sincere person. You have to be sincere with yourself. What is truly missing in your own growth? What do you think, if you can get better, if you can do better in, all right, it can help you? Is it communication? Is it finance? Is it content creation? It can be a couple of things. It can be mindset, it can be your self-esteem, it can be confidence. That can be your gap. You can say that, oh, I've noticed that I'm not a very confident person. I want to learn how to become more confident. Yes, that can be your gap. That is the first way to define what you want to learn, to identify your gap. The second way is to use recruitment websites. Now, I'm talking about professional growth now. Use recruitment websites. For example, if you're looking out for some specific kinds of roles, even as a nurse, if you go to recruitment websites, examples are, you see LinkedIn, for example, there's LinkedIn. There are a couple of other online recruitment websites, but one of the most popular is LinkedIn. If you go to LinkedIn, every job opening has a list of qualifications and a list of things that people are looking for every single time. So what do? Go to those websites, go to the type of roles you're looking for, and check what the qualifications they're asking for are. What are those qualifications people are looking for? Make a list of it. Ask yourself sincerely, which of these things do I have? Which of them do I not have? That is a way to define what to learn. When you go through those sites, you can then define and say, okay, these are the things I don't have right now. And then you can get it. So recruitment websites is a way to define what to learn. Then the last way to define what to learn is what I call role modeling. Role modeling. Role modeling is about you going out of your way to search for people that have already achieved the things that you want to achieve. Check them out. Check out their stories. If they've done an interview, go and watch the interview. If they have a profile on LinkedIn, if they have a profile on any platform, check what they have. What have they done that you can do? What qualifications do they have that you can have? This is how to know what to learn. All right. And there are very professional qualifications, right, that you need even as a nurse, that even digital platforms can help you create. Right. So an action point here would be for you to create a learning list. Create a list that shows what you need to learn. So you need to define what you want to learn. And where can you learn these things? So there are a couple of platforms. For example, there are some free platforms that can allow you to learn. Free platforms like YouTube. YouTube is a free platform. There are AI tools like ChatGPT, which is an amazing AI tool that allows you to learn a lot of things just by asking questions. Those are some free platforms. There are platforms like EDX. EDX uses what is called open source learning. There are a number of courses called open source courses that can be found on edx.org. So if you're taking notes, you can write edx.org. edx.org is an amazing platform to learn. There's also a platform called FutureLearn, futurelearn.com. You can go to futurelearn.com and you can get a lot of things to learn that. These are digital platforms. These are IT tools, IT platforms that you can use to grow yourself and exceed expectations, both personally and professionally. Then there are also paid platforms, right? Paid platforms. We have some platforms that are paid. The Endless Academy, for example, is a place that you can get to learn. Of course, they may have some free resources for you, but then there are also some resources that you need to pay for, right? So that's an example of a paid platform that you can use to learn. There are other paid platforms depending on what you're trying to learn per time. There is Udemy, for example. Udemy is a paid platform, udemy.com. You can go and check that out. Udemy.com is a paid platform. Then there are also specific paid certification programs. All right. For every career, and as a nurse, for example, there are specific certification programs that are paid that you need to define that this is where I want to learn from. All right. So go ahead and make a list of those things. And then the last category of places you want to learn is called social platforms. If you're on social media, we're at a time when there are always people on social media that are ready to teach you something. We have a lot of videos. We have a number of creators, both nurses, doctors. A lot of people are creating things on the internet right now. You have to make sure that you go ahead and search for these people so that when you're scrolling through your social media, you are actually learning in the process. It's called social learning. Social learning is your ability to follow people that help you grow. So you're not just following just anybody. You're not just on social media to just laugh your way every single time. No, as you're there to entertain yourself, you're also following people that are putting out content that can help you learn. All right. So it's very important. Social learning. All right. Now that is under learning. That's the first thing, learning. The second way you can exceed expectation using IT optimization, the number two way is what I call positioning. So now you've learned, or you're still learning, but while you're learning, you have to position yourself, okay, in a way that you can be rewarded. There's this quote that's very powerful. It says that impact cannot be rewarded unless it is branded. Impact cannot be rewarded unless it is branded. A lot of you are able to benefit from what Decency Endless Academy is doing right now because they have branded, they have packaged their impact. It's not a structureless platform. They have a structure, they have programs, they have a platform, they have, tutors, they have people that have come together to create a structure that can help you to get that impact. So impact cannot be rewarded unless it is branded, unless it is well structured, it is well packaged. So even you as a person, you as a nurse, you have to begin to think of how you can brand yourself, how you can become an entire package. Think about yourself as a business. Think about yourself as someone that can be paid for or that can be rewarded for the uniqueness that you have to offer. And yes, I know that one of the easiest ways to get rewarded, right, is to maybe get a good role in a good organization. But even beyond that, with the current IT optimization, I have IT possibilities, right? I have seen nurses that have created platforms that enables them to get rewarded. In fact, some of them have become a platform to be rewarded. Okay. Some of you in Nigeria would know, for example, Aproko Doctor. Aproko Doctor is a doctor that then became a creator, all right, online. And the rewards that come from being a creator is massive, very massive. That's an example. So how do you position yourself to be rewarded? How do you package yourself to be rewarded, especially using the internet? All right, one way when it comes to positioning yourself is to create what I call digital assets. And if you've not heard this before, you can just learn about it. It's what's called digital assets. What are digital assets? One digital asset I can think of, and I would like to share at the moment, is your website or your online portfolio. Now, a lot of people do not know that as individuals, you can actually have a website. As an individual, you can have an online portfolio. Even if you don't want to create an entire website, there are platforms that allow you to create a portfolio for yourself. And I'll share some of those platforms with you. Some of them are actually free. All right. An example of a platform that allows you to create an online portfolio is Carrd.co. Carrd.co is spelled CARRD, then .co. It's a free platform, Carrd.co. All right, CARRD.co, Carrd.co. You can use that to create a simple portfolio, a simple landing page that when someone says, oh, they want to learn more about you, you can just send that to them. It can contain a little bit about you. It can contain your social media handles if you're active on social media. It can contain some of those things. Very simple. There's another platform called About.me. It's a free platform. About.me. With About.me, that's about ABOUT.me. All right, someone can help write this in the chat box. About.me. About.me, what it does is that it allows you to create your own personal profile online. So it can contain things like, oh, okay, where you graduated from, how many years of experience you have, some things you're interested in, just a simple profile that you can craft that allows people to see you so that you're discoverable. If you go to the internet right now and if you go to Google and type my name, you will definitely see something about me because I have an online presence, right? So it's easy for you to have that, right, using those platforms. There are also platforms that can help you create an entire website, like WordPress. WordPress is a platform that allows you to create an entire website. So you can look at WordPress, for example. Then there's also Wix, Wix.com, Wix.com, Wix.com allows you to create your own website also, and it's quite easy to use. All right, Wix.com. You can check this things out after now. This is under positioning yourself. Another thing when it comes to positioning yourself is social media. I know some of you are not that active yet for now, but social media is an amazing way to position yourself to be rewarded, all right, especially using the internet. Social media is a very important way. Now, when I talk about social media, I'm talking about Facebook, I'm talking about Instagram, I'm talking about Twitter, I'm talking about LinkedIn. All right, these 4 platforms, especially Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Professionally, I would recommend LinkedIn for everyone. As a professional, it's great to have at least a LinkedIn profile, right? As a professional, although there are other platforms, right? But these are some of the top platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you want to position yourself on these platforms, what do you need to do? The first thing you need to do would be to clean up your profile. Clean up your profile. I was having a conversation with someone that I respect a lot, and I told him that, or someone told him that, that he has read everything the person has put out on social media, and the person said, "You didn't read everything I put out. You're able to read only the things that I put out that I wanted you to read, because before this time, he has gone back to remove all the things that he had posted at the time when he didn't really have sense, if I should use that word, right? Because there's some things you posted on social media a long time before now that if you go to right now, it doesn't make sense anymore. LinkedIn is spelled Linked. All right, let me see if I can just very quickly type that in the chat box. LinkedIn.com. All right, good. So I think I just typed that. So there was a time when probably your level of exposure, your environment and things like that did not permit you to put out some certain kinds of amazing content. So your content online back then were content that can even put you in trouble right now, right? If someone looks at it very well. So it's best to go back and delete some of those posts you've made in the past on social media. Any post that will not encourage or will not give an addition to your future should be deleted. All those gossips, all those dragging, all those things that you did back then when you didn't think so highly of yourself, you can go back and clean it up. That's the first thing to do if you want to use social media and position yourself. Remove your posts that do not make sense. Second thing is to add a very professional profile picture. And it doesn't have to be something too difficult. Just, you can use a phone these days. Either you can use your phone or you can have a friend that has a better camera. Just go to a plain background. For example, my background is white, right? So you can go to a plain background that is white or just a plain color and take a simple headshot picture and put it out there. Doesn't have to be something too serious. You don't at 2023, you don't have to go to an entire photo studio before you can have a professional picture. There are smartphones that are very good right now. These are IT optimization tools. Go to a plain background, take a nice picture, and upload it as your profile picture. Then add a bio. Your bio is like that short, there's a very short place at the top of your profile where you can type something about you. So what do you want people to know about you? And if you're not sure what to use as a bio, 3 things you can write just in 1 sentence or even in half sentences is, who you are, what you do, and how you do it. So who you are, what you do, and how you do it. Sometimes you can add who you do it for. All right. For example, I'm an amazing nurse that uses digital tools, for example, to help people advance their nursing career. That's an example. Okay. Or I help patients feel better using this and that and that. So you can have a bio that just talks about who you are, what you do, and how you do it. That's a simple bio, right? Then after you have cleaned up your profile using these 3 steps that I talked about, then you can start doing what is called content marketing. If you're interested in that, if you want to go further and you want to maybe put out content online, this is not compulsory, but if you want to share content, you can share your stories, you can share, some things that you want to share, you can do those things online, all right? So that's content marketing, okay? If you want to go ahead and increase your network, you want to build relationships, you can build relationships by engaging other people's posts. There's some people that you go online, you have never liked anybody's post, you have never commented. If you want to build relationships online, you can actually engage with people's posts. And this is very profound. I know that there are several people that I have in my life right now that those relationships started online. It started based on online engagements, and they have become very strong relationships right now. I had a conference recently, and I had a friend of mine that we became friends just online. We did not see before we became friends, and he supported the conference with $500,000 naira. That's a lot of money, all right, even in naira, all right. So, if someone can support another person with that kind of amount, all right, and that was not the only person. I had people that have companies, people that have their own companies. I had companies. I was able to get even an indirect sponsorship from Meta itself. That's what people know as Facebook, formerly Facebook, because of relationships I built online. So you can actually build relationships online that will translate into profitable relationships, even in the physical. Right? Because online, there are real people online. The people that have those accounts are actually real people. This is how you exceed expectations using IT optimization. I'm already rounding up because this is supposed to be about 40 to 45 minutes. So let me begin to add some more details, and then I'll take some questions and we'll get to round up for today. So you are building relationships, you're leveraging communities. There are communities for nurses, for example. On Facebook, we have some good communities for nurses. And by communities, I mean like groups, all right? The Distance NCLEX Academy has, for example, a community that is on a platform. On Telegram, you can have access to that community. That is how to leverage, all right, the internet or IT tools to build relationships and increase your network. So if you're active in those communities, if you show up for sessions like this, all right, if you interact, if you communicate, what happens is you're able to build even better relationships, all right? Now, the third point, and I think after this point, maybe one more point and we'll be done. The third point would be seeking opportunities. If you want to recharge your career using IT, using the internet, it is important to seek opportunities. And there's a quote that I have. I always say that opportunities only exist to those who know. Do you get that? Opportunities only exist to the people who know. So if you don't know about it, it does not exist to you. When I talk about opportunities, some of you may not even have any idea that there are opportunities that currently you're qualified for. There are opportunities that you're overqualified for, that in fact people are looking for a way to bring you on, but you don't know about it. And that's why communities are important. That's why relationships are important. There are people that need this session right now, but because they are not a part of the Decency NCLEX Academy community, they can't have access to it. All right? So communities are important because opportunities exist in circles. There are circles where opportunities exist. Right. So where can you see these opportunities? There are different opportunities, right? So where can you see these opportunities? One category of opportunities are volunteering opportunities or internships. That's one category of opportunities. Volunteering opportunities or internships. And you can see these opportunities on social media and on LinkedIn. I've talked about LinkedIn again. All right. There are volunteering opportunities that you can find on LinkedIn, linkedin.com, right? And also on social media, especially Twitter. So Twitter has a number of those type of opportunities to volunteer that are put out there. So volunteering opportunities can be found on social media and also on LinkedIn. The second kind of opportunities are called fellowships, right? Fellowships. Some of you have heard about fellowships before. There's some of you that have even been a part of fellowships. I remember that last year I was in Ghana for about 3 weeks on a fully funded scholarship, fully funded opportunity by the United States government. I was a part of the Young African Leaders Initiative regional leadership cohort. All right, so it was a fully funded opportunity. Flight was taken care of, accommodation in a hotel for the 3 weeks we were in Ghana, feeding 4 times a day, transportation, everything was taken care of fully by the United States government. Now, that is an example of a fellowship that is available to people if they know. All right, there was someone that was there, that was a nurse, there was a doctor that was there also. All right, that was one of my colleagues. We were people from 9 different countries. There were people from Ghana, there were people from Sierra Leone, there were people from Liberia, there were people from the Gambia, there were people from Nigeria, there were people from different countries, very specific countries in Africa, all gathered in a particular place and all fully sponsored. That's an example of a fellowship. But if you don't know about these things, you do not know that they exist and you can't take advantage of them. So where can you see fellowships? So there are some platforms that put out fellowships like this. One of those platforms is opportunitydex.org. Opporunitydex.org. That's a platform that puts out fellowships that you can use to improve your career, professional growth, personal growth. What these fellowships do is that when you there are some opportunities that when you show that you've been a part of fellowships like this, it gives you a higher stand, a higher chance. Because if 5 people come for for one opportunity, and there's just one slot, 5 people, and everybody has just a nursing degree, there's no differentiation. What differentiates you from the other 5? Why should they choose you? These are the other things you need to have that then makes you a preferred person or a preferred candidate for these roles, okay? So those are fellowship opportunities. There is opportunitydex.org. There's also one for Africans called opportunitiesforafricans.com. So I've talked about opportunitydex.org, that's O-R-G, opportunitydesk.org, then opportunitiesforafricans.com. Those are 2 platforms you can use for fellowships. Now, another kind of opportunities is job opportunities. All right, there are several platforms that help with job opportunities. LinkedIn is one. LinkedIn is an amazing opportunity. There's some job opportunities that are location-based. These days, we have a number of countries that invite health professionals, especially for certain kinds of visas. All right, for example, if you go to the Canada IRCC platform, you have an idea of what some of these things are and how to go about it. All right, we have platforms like that even for countries like the UK, for the US. These are some opportunities that if you're a part of the Decency Academy, you can get exposed to. All right, there are some of these opportunities that are online. You can go ahead and read about. All right, some of them you can even do them yourself. There's some that you need help, you need assistance, and that's where platforms like Decency comes in. All right, so you need to have an idea of what these job opportunities are so that you can leverage it for your growth. All right, and then the last kind of opportunities I'll talk about for today, as we already come to an end, is freelancing opportunities. Now, for a good number of people, especially nurses, there are very few freelancing opportunities that you can have access to. All right, but we're at a time when we are beginning to have platforms for telemedicine, telehealth. In fact, I'm a growth marketing manager for a digital health tech startup that is trying to provide a platform where people can get access to healthcare from wherever they are. Now, there are some challenges definitely because of the peculiar nature of healthcare, the fact that there's some things that you may not be able to have the best idea of except you're physically with a patient, right? But there are some other opportunities for growth. There are opportunities where people can receive healthcare wherever they are from qualified professionals. So platforms like that are beginning to become big. I know that in the next 5 to 10 years, these platforms will become mainstream. There'll be several platforms where doctors and nurses can deliver very good healthcare services to patients, right? Even over the internet. So it's good for you to start getting an idea of these type of opportunities, how you can begin to learn things around health tech, right? And you can leverage them when the time comes. Now, the last way I'll talk about as we come to an end, and maybe I'll take questions and we'll close for tonight. The last way that you can recharge your career, that you can be empowered to exceed expectations through IT optimization. The number 4 point is creating opportunities. So now I've talked about seeking and accessing opportunities, but that's not the only way. The last way is to create opportunities. And this is actually where you get paid. This is where you get, a lot of monetary rewards. Yes, I know that you can learn. Yes, I know that you can position yourself. Yes, I know that you can seek opportunities, but the last way is to create opportunities. How do you create opportunities? 2 major things. By creating products, that's the first. For you to create products, by creating products, you're creating an opportunity for yourself and for others. The second thing is by creating and delivering services. So you're creating products and you're creating services, or you're delivering services. Those are the most profound ways to create opportunities. All right. For someone that is okay, for example, I'm thinking a question around. I know I'll take questions very soon. How can one create opportunity as a perioperative nurse? Now, let me give you an example. For example, as a nurse, whatever your niche is, there are people that need to learn things that what they learn can either help prevent whatsoever it is you help treat, or help manage it after the treatment procedure or during the treatment procedure. Are you able to create a simple video, all right, that teaches people how they can manage whatever it is you're specialized in? Are you able to share your experiences, for example, for other nurses that are coming after you to become an amazing nurse like you are in your niche? whatever your niche is, there's always, at the moment, there are several student nurses that can benefit from your information if you can sit down, record it, and put it as a package and put a price to it. Can you teach people how to get into your niche? Because there are people right now that are struggling, that want to do what you do, but they don't even know that it exists. Can you create a product? Can you create a digital product, all right, that helps people to get to become who you are? All right. Can you create a service? All right. Can you create a service that's maybe a consultancy service that people can jump on a call with you and can teach them, or you can share some of your experiences with them? How did you become who you are? That's an example of a way you can create a product. By creating that product, you're getting paid, but you're also giving people an opportunity to become better. Do you understand? So these are some ways that you can create opportunities. You're creating an opportunity for yourself, you're getting paid, but you're also, the people that are benefiting from your product or your service are also becoming better because of what you have put out. All right. So these are ways you can create opportunities by creating what? Products and services. So ask yourself this question: what product can I put out that can help people? Either help my patients, either help other nurses, other people that are coming up. What product or service can I put out there that I can put a price to, all right, that can help people become better? This is how you create opportunities. All right. So, and with this, I think we would come to the end of this session. I believe you've learned something. Have you learned something today? How was the session for you? Did you learn something new? Go ahead and let me know in the chat box as I bring this to an end. I think I can hand over back to the team at Distance English Academy, and then maybe if there are some questions, I would love to maybe take them before we come to the end of today. But if there's none, I want to believe that we'll get to meet again. I'll get to meet you at a higher version of yourself, and you also get to meet me at a higher version of myself. There's something I always say, that growth will cost you, but not growing will cost you more. If you decide to grow, it will cost you. But if you decide to remain the same, to stay as you are, it will cost you more, because you can be better, you can do more, especially with the tools and the platforms that are currently available to you. So thank you so much, and I'll bring to an end here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Steven. That we don't have any question on the chat box. I don't know. It was very impactful. I learned a lot. In fact, you have stimulated me, trying to come up with my own digital space has been very difficult. I just seem like, I don't have all the qualities, but I'm just looking for that push maybe. And tonight, I think I just got what I need and where I need to start from. Thank you so much. I know others also got value. So if you got value for everything we said tonight, let's just drop some value on the chat box for him. This is our way of appreciating anyone that comes on the webinar to give us something that is valuable. So let's see some value plus or one value. If you just got many values, for me, I don't know about others, I got a lot of value. And I know we're going to be bringing you up many other times, because I don't think this is all you have for us. You have more things to dish out to us in Distance Academy. So Bosdi will have been here, but he's not disposed. So I was thinking he was going to breeze in a minute or so, but unfortunately, I think he's not that chanced enough to do that. But you see, if you look on the chat box, you will get a lot of value. Means I was not the only one that really appreciated what you did tonight. Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure. My pleasure.
Bye.
All right. Okay. All right. Bye.